r/AskReddit, what's the stupidest double standard you ever heard from someone? Dude I worked with felt I needed to know that he'd have to have a wife and a mistress because he didn't want someone who sucked his dick kissing the kids. And I was like, have you considered maybe washing your dick better? My friend's mom said men cheating and women cheating are different because men only care about the physical and not the emotional. Come to find out, she was being cheated on by her current husband, and I am assuming this is how she coped. He can't refuse sex. He's the man. The woman always decides when and where we have sex. Everybody knows that. In marriage counseling, my ex-wife, while we were still married, she was serious, too. My aunt calls me Q slut for wearing short skirts. She doesn't know the father of 2 of her 3 children. My husband bitches about people on welfare while actively getting medical assistance and social security from the state. My crazy uncle used to hire undocumented immigrants while complaining that illegal aliens were stealing people's jobs. He liked to hire them because they worked hard and were cheap. We got behind on our rent this year. I'd missed a ton of work due to a surgery and being very ill. My mother-in-law hasn't worked for over 30 years, lives rent-free in the house that her mother paid off years ago, gets disability, food stamps and other monetary support from the government. When we got behind, she says, I don't understand how you can't afford to pay your bills. Maybe you should get a second job. The last time she paid rent over 30 years ago, she paid $250 a month, which she split with her BF at the time. She also gets assistance with her electric bill. Meanwhile we have $1,650 rent, car payment, car insurance, electric, groceries. We get no assistance whatsoever. It's so frustrating being lectured by someone who has everything provided for her. Also, she doesn't even leave the house at all, literally ever. She has me and one of her daughter's workers to do grocery shopping and laundry and all her household chores. We judge ourselves by our thoughts and intentions, and others by their actions. Company won't give you a reference when you leave, just your dates of employment and job title. Same company won't hire you without a reference. My cousin's kid had his toy taken by another kid, and he slapped her. My cousin ran over, slapped him, and yelled, "No hitting." It's not okay for my boyfriend to cheat on me because that's cheating. It's okay if I cheat because I'm not getting what I need out of the relationship. I was talking with someone about wedding and the fact that a man can take his wife's name if he wants to. He said no way, it would be so bizarre. Imagine, this guy lives 25 years with one last name, and one day he has to answer to a completely different name. I said, well, that's what the women have been doing for a long time. To what he answered, it's not the same. Only idiots drive that fast, 150 km/h on a 120 road. I'm in a hurry and I'm a good driver, I can go 150. I once got in trouble at school for hitting a girl, which I didn't do. What really happened was that a girl that bullied me for being on the spectrum decided that she wanted to beat me up. I didn't touch her. I got in trouble for hitting her, and she didn't get in trouble because she lied to the principal, and the principal didn't believe me because, in her words, you can't be trusted because I was autistic. Long story short, the school system sucks. Women are allowed to be more upset about double standards, Liz Lemon. I call my cat Chubby all the time, but as soon as someone else does it, I get so offended. I had a production manager who would come in late and leave early most days, and then make problems for anyone who needed a half day for anything. From a colleague at a previous job, this country is full of migrants, I'm fed up. I'm going to move to New Zealand. Babies kick pregnant women all the time, but when I do it, society loses their minds. My mate who's been cheating his whole life. Found out his wife was having an affair and was devastated. I feel so betrayed. Bruh. Bruh. Bruh lol. My dad is obese and he makes fun of fat people all the time. Personally from me. In gaming, I berate anyone who doesn't play as a team, while I run off and do my own thing. As a new parent, it really bothers me when only the ladies' room has those baby changing stations. Dads need to change poopy diapers too. I was molested by my math teacher for 6 months starting when I was 14. When we were found out, I got expelled and she got counseling. Cause as a 14 years old I was obviously the aggressor. A male friend of mine told his long-distance GF that he was going to start dating someone else, but she couldn't. Sounds ridiculous, right? And she still got back together with him afterwards. People saying men's can't get our *ped. I deleted Facebook because it's so awful how Zuckerberg spies on everyone you know, so now I just use Instagram. My mom had a problem with welfare recipients until a sibling went on it. Then, back to nasty welfare recipients when they got off welfare. A guy I used to work with was constantly making really explicit sexual comments about some of the girls we worked with, things about their bodies and what he'd like to do to them. I asked, what if you were at the store with your mom, and some guy walked up and said that to her? Immediately he got pissed at just the thought and started puffing up with, oh hell nah, I'd hoop his fucking ass into next week. So WTF makes it okay for you to say about other people? Nah, that's my fucking mom, nobody disrespects her like that. Like dude knew damn well it was disrespectful and creepy as hell, but it was only an outrage if it was aimed at a woman he cared about. He could not see the hypocrisy of it. BC he was too pissed off at me for the hypothetical scenario. God loves you and wants what's best for you but will torture and abuse you forever and ever if you don't love him back. My ex-wife had a real problem with me getting into a new relationship before our divorce was finalized. I was committing adultery, according to her. Her friend also entered into a relationship before her divorce was finalized and that was okay. Her reasoning was that her friend was a woman, and that her husband had left her. Not to make this political, but I hate people who stand against racism but allow anti-white or anti-Jewish racism. Like no, I don't want to live in that world. I'm not even white or Jewish but I wish we'd all just get along. I once heard a guy say that if his teenage son got someone pregnant, he would give him a stern finger wag, would make him stay and be a good father. But if his teenage daughter got pregnant, he would make her give it up for adoption, and then she would get the beating of her life. That was verbatim. He also said that he didn't care if his son smoked cigarettes, only if his daughter did. 4 15-minute breaks during the salary day is frowned upon, but if you pick up smoking, perfectly okay. This is not a new one, but I have always found it messed up when men get upset if a woman enjoys sex and has many partners. Every man I know would have sex with as many women as they could, but for a woman to do it was outrageous. I personally do not care how many partners you have had, or where you learned that tongue-twisty thing, just keep doing it on me. FWB started calling me bro, but apparently she finds it weird and sexual if I call her sis. Men aren't fat, only fat women are fat. Peter Griffin. Woman has 20 sexual partners equals whore. Man has 20 sexual partners equals stud. Woman won't sleep with a man equals tease. Woman does sleep with a man equals slut. Man won't sleep with a woman equals gay. How we survive as a species is one of the universe's great mysteries. Face with tears of joy. Wearing masks equals can't breathe. When wildfire smoke comes around, suddenly the same people are wearing masks. It's gross when women have body hair, super hairy man. ETA, Some of y'all are acting like women have shaved since the dawn of time and that it is innately ladylike to be hairless, like y'all haven't been conditioned to believe that. When male teachers have sexual relationships with female students, it's rape. When it's a female teacher with her male student, it's inappropriate behavior. Probably the one where people migrating to another city, state, or country will not follow that place's customs or practices, but when a foreigner or a person from another state or city migrates to their country, state, or city, and does the same thing, not following their customs or practices, they get up in arms about it and start shouting for the foreigners to go back home. Any workplace with anti-gossip rules creates a double standard. Of course, supervisors are going to discuss their reports with each other and managers are going to talk about their underlings. Really, all it creates is a reason to discipline someone for saying something negative about their boss. Was waiting outside for someone and got to witness this absolute gem of good parenting. Kid, roughly 5 years old. Bobby is such an ashuoli. Mom, without missing a beat, and you're a piece of shit for swearing. Yeah, I wonder where the kid got it from. Being told your siblings is just as smart as you. They get rewarded for CS on remedial classes while you are screamed at for not getting straight A's. A guy I was sleeping with kept trying to get me to find a girl to have a threesome with. To him, the thought of watching/participating while two women had sex was the hottest thing he could imagine, and he had specifically hit me up on a dating site. BC I listed myself as bisexual. He later kicked his 18-year-old daughter out of his home. Why? Because she shared a post on FB in support of her LGBTQ+ friends. Just a post stating that she was an ally. He went off at her and berated her, telling her he wasn't going to have that shit in his house, and if that's the kind of thing she supports, she couldn't live in his house anymore. As I was ending our arrangement, I asked him, hey, weren't you all in favor of hosting actual lesbian sex in your house the entire time we've been fucking? I had an ex that would just rip one whenever she had to and giggle. I'm talking levels of ass blasting that were audible the next room over. Not a big deal, we all do it, but, any time I farted, she would literally call it out like I was the rudest person ever. And when I'd point out the hypocrisy of the situation, she'd just roll her eyes and say that's different. Blew my mind every time. Somehow it's okay for Trump to hire his kids into the WH and get gifts, but Biden can't say hi to anyone even when he's out of office, or it's corruption for his kid, who isn't in government. I don't condone hitting people, but it's irritating how many videos I see on Reddit/YouTube of women aggressively hitting men knowing that men aren't allowed to hit them back because they are a female. But when the man has had enough and fucking body slams them, they act completely shocked as if that wasn't at all in their mind. Self-defense is self-defense regardless of gender. Not a very serious situation, just wanted to share this so people might have a good laugh. I remember one time a little girl came over to me, 22 male, and said, "You are a girl because you wear pink nail polish." Then I reminded her that she was wearing a blue t-shirt XD. I got throttled by my ex-boss because I don't use the active voice enough in my writing, or God forbid I used an Oxford comma at the wrong location. If I use an exclamation point on an internal email for something exciting, whoa, or if I said something was awesome, it was unprofessional even though the motto was awesome, and it's written on our stationery and values page. My favorite, of course, is my emails aren't brief enough. Meanwhile, my co-workers who were both above me in the food chain had awful writing. One couldn't write a sentence anyone understands because the grammars is awkward. The excuse given was that he's foreigner, despite having multiple degrees from US universities. No, he is just lazy. Meanwhile, my other co-worker responds with these 5-page emails full of crap he copied from the internet and taking credit for. This is both fine. No, the truth is she didn't like me. A woman in crotchless panties is sexy, but if I want to wear crotchless cargo shorts, I get kicked out of Target. How is that fair? If a woman is drunk, she's unable to consent to sex. But somehow, that doesn't mean it's the same for a drunk man. So if both parties were drunk and they had consensual sex, somehow the man raped the woman, even if he said no at first and she was the aggressor, and he gave in. My mother berating me for accidentally having a small piece of food from my plate fall onto the table, while at the same time cheering on my older brother for inhaling huge amounts of food and being disgusting while doing so. I was told growing up that etiquette was for girls, not boys. My mother complaining about the socialist leftists while she and everyone around her received SSI, SNAP, and Medicaid. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.